Throwing on first down is Carr. Working the middle here. That's complete to Moreau, the tight end. 4 yards remain for second down. Now Carr. Catch made. It's Moreau. And they're able to get this one across the 35. So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38. First rep of the game for Josh Jacobs. And he can only manage to get a couple. 2nd and 8 coming up. The last run good for 2. Here's 2nd and 8. Throwing now is Carr. He'll find Moreau here. And he'll be taken down, but not before he works it past the 50. So from Buccaneer territory now, it's 1st and 10 at the 48-yard line. Carr going to give it to Jacobs. And that play will go nowhere. Losing yardage back near midfield at the 49. 2nd and 11. To throw is Carr. Got a man open. It's Darren Waller. And this is going to lead to another first down as the tackle's made at the Bucs 28. Now Carr. Got a man. It's Darren Waller. Touchdown Raiders. Darren Waller. 28 yards. And the Raiders drive right down the field and score on the opening drive. And now they'll empty the backfield here as they elect to go for 2. Carr will look to throw. It's caught. And it's 8-0. Interesting. I mean, they're putting their foot on the gas here early, going for 2 to go up 8-0.
Well, after that drive, you have to believe that they thought to themselves, if we can do that, what's another 2 yards? Let's go get those and get 2 points as a result.
The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. And they're going to mark that where it went out of bounds. So really good starting field position up past the 40-yard line. Brady and the Bucs now with a 1st and 10 at the 41-yard line.
Definitely old news. I actually, I really liked what India already said yesterday.
What did she say yesterday?
Oh, number one, she said she don't think Joe Rogan is racist. She just thought it was insensitive, and she said that she's not into cancel culture.
So, what was her initial comments? Because I think she's commenting on her initial thing. She was like, take my stuff off Spotify.
Yeah, and she expounded on that. Her initial comments was, Spotify pays artists pennies, but, pays Rogan $100 million, and Rogan says things like this. She was like, it wasn't even just the COVID misinformation. I put that in air quotes. It was his language around race. But what she said yesterday was real, man. She was like, yo, I don't believe in cancellation. I believe in curation. Yeah. Meaning, I chose to step away from Spotify because I don't want to be on a platform that supports that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, I mean, she said more than that, of course. Y'all can, insert it if you want. But I was just like, yo, that's what everybody should do. We live in a curation culture. If you don't like something, just simply don't listen. Like, and she said she's not into censorship. And I'm going to be honest, man. That's not even happening. I don't got to be honest. It's the truth. If you're a radio personality, podcaster, rapper, comedian, artist in general, anybody that does this for a living, if you open your mouth and words come out for a living, you can't be for censorship.
Yeah, that is correct.
And if you are if you are from a certain era, there is no way in hell you can look at Joe Rogan and be like, that's fucked up.
Right.
That's what kills me about all of this.
Yeah.
The lack of self-awareness that some people have, the hypocrisy that some people have.
Did you see the YouTube live between Dave Portnoy? You know Dave Portnoy?
Yeah,
He runs
yeah,
Barstool. Yeah. So he did a YouTube live with the three dudes that I guess are running this company that populated the internet with the Rogan's video. So they were like sharing it with a bunch of stuff. And I could be getting this wrong, so forgive me if I get it wrong, but more or less they were involved in like sharing this with celebs and specifically targeting like black celebs, black entertainers, etc., to kind of galvanize the internet and push it. And he's doing this whole thing, and they're like, "No, it's not our fault," and freedom of speech, etc. And again, I could be getting this wrong, but towards the end, he goes, "Now what if?" So none of you guys. So the guy goes to Rogan. He goes, "So to Portnoy." He goes, "So you promise you'll never use the N-word ever again on broadcast?" Because Portnoy had been sung it in a song or a couple things, right? And he goes, "Yeah, I've already said I'm not going to do that." And then Portnoy goes, "Do you guys promise you'll never use it again?" And they're like, "We never use it." And he goes, "What if I said I had a text message from one of you guys where you used the N-word in a text message?" And they're like, "That's never happened. What are you even talking about?" And he goes, "Does one of you guys have a fiance named Lexi?"
Holy shit.
Bro, this is happening live?
Holy
Bro,
shit.
this is happening live, dude. And they're like, "What are you even talking about?" And yo, these guys who were supposed to be on the same team, supposed to be brothers. The way that one dude dogged out his homie so fucking fast, he goes, "Well, that would be Jared's fiance." Huh?
Wow.
Immediately, bro. And then he's like, "No, that never happened." He goes, "What if I have a text message where you use that in text?"
Wow.
So we started thinking about this. I mean, you were even hitting me up yesterday, like, with this, you know, you're going to look back at everybody's shit. I was talking about this the other day, like, yo, if they just release the Call of Duty or Fortnite transcripts of these little 14-year-olds, all they need to do is release that shit, and everybody, cancel culture's done, baby.
Let me alphabet these things.
These little kids say everything.
Let me run forensics on anybody's phone.
Son, over.
You know what I'm saying? But, you know, listen, I said it before and I say it again. I don't think there's ever room for a white person to use the N-word, just simply because I don't think any of us should use it, but definitely a white person, because it's just like there's no upside to it.
Yo, and so if you listen to Rogan, he agrees. Like, there's this weird conversation that happened on the internet when we were calling out that this is like a clear hit piece on Rogan.
Yes.
And the people were saying, "Oh, there's a lot of white people out here justifying him using the N-word." And it's like, Rogan doesn't even justify it. Rogan's like, "I regret doing it. That's why I apologize. Like, I wish I didn't do it." He didn't call anybody the N-word. I mean, it's up to you guys to decide in what way it can be used and worse and not used at all, obviously. But it's not like he was speaking about the word. Right?
He was speaking about the word. He was talking about titles of albums. He was quoting comedians. The Planet of the Apes thing was the worst one to me. But even
he says that's the most regrettable.
And but by the way, that was 12 years ago. We've all made fucked up, terrible jokes. And I listen to Joe Rogan. I don't know him personally like you do. I met him twice, but I've been listening to him over a decade. The one thing I've always liked about Joe is his self-awareness.
Yes.
Right? So if you go back and watch the Planet of the Apes thing, even in that commentary, he literally goes, "Oh, my bad, that's fucked up. That was racist." And then he switches and starts talking about the love how he loved being in that environment and how he enjoyed watching the movie in that setting, whatever. But it's just like, man, the thing that really got me this week was just the lack of self-awareness of some people, because I'm watching certain folks take him to task, and I'm like, bro, I've been following you for years. And what happened on Monday morning, literally, everybody started getting aired out. All of these different people started getting aired out. All of these different things they said on blogs back in the day. All these different things they said on television or in comedy shows. The Young Turks thing was very interesting to me. You know what I mean? Because I fuck with the Young Turks. I'm still going to fuck with the Young Turks. Right? But it's like, you called them out, and they came with their own N-word compilation on them, right?
Theirs was wild, bro.
And what was interesting, one of the anchors from the Young Turks doubled down and was like, whenever we used the N-word, we used it while we were quoting races. And they were like, "Cancel us if you want." And I'm like, I don't think that's the way that should have been handled. And I'm sure she might have apologized by now. I don't know. I haven't seen it. But it's like the thing Rogan didn't double down. He didn't triple down. Like, yo, I apologize.
Yeah.
I'm going to I've been stopped using the word. I'm definitely going to do better moving forward. The conversation I think we're not having is, I saw people say, like, no, he caters to the right. I don't think he caters to the right. I think he's just a curious person who's willing to sit down with any and everybody. I think the problem is the left has made Rogan so radioactive that they're afraid to go sit down with him because they're afraid about the backlash they'll get from sitting down with him.
You're talking to this now. You're talking
absolutely.
So they paint him as radioactive so that they don't have to talk about. You know, it's so funny. The first time I went on Rogan, I literally said that. I was like, "That's the strategy. Paint someone as radioactive, then you don't even have to talk to them. So now you don't even have to engage in intercourse." Intercourse, but like, you don't even have to have that, and not even debate, just like exchange ideas. Like, dude, I would love to see Fauci on Rogan.
Shouldn't you? By the way, for somebody who has an audience that big, and if you think he's putting out misinformation, go sit with him.
Man, Fauci will go on every fucking podcast, every CNN show with 500,000 viewers. The guy's getting 11 million a day. Why would you not go onto the podcast? If you really cared about sharing information, especially you cared about sharing information to the people that are most skeptical about what you're saying, if you truly cared about helping, you would go to the place where you could help the most people, right? That's why it's capped.
100%. Because one thing I also noticed about Rogan, if Rogan,
here she is.
Yo. Peace, Chrissy.
Hi.
If Rogan knows about the information someone's talking about, he'll challenge them.
Yes.
You know what I mean? If he has an opposing view, he'll challenge them. I have not seen it. I have not seen him have these people on his show and not challenge them. That's why I enjoy listening. Now, some people will say, well, if he doesn't know what he's talking about, he just listens to the person.
Yeah,
that's what an interviewer is supposed to do.
Yeah, that's how it works.
I get that all the time as a broadcaster. I'll be sitting there having a conversation with somebody. I'm listening to what the person has to say, and then I see all the comments on YouTube, people challenging what the person said, this and that. Great. If I don't have the information, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
I'm just a curious person who likes to sit and talk with people. It's not our fault that these doctors and whoever else would rather go to Rogan, would rather go to the Breakfast Club, would rather sit on The View. Because the so-called experts on the CNNs and the Foxes and the MSNBCs, either they're not willing to engage with these people, or they just don't have the reach. I don't know what it is.
Or they're not allowed. Or they're towing the company line and they're saying exactly what the company wants them to say. Right? Remember when we were about to run out of masks in the beginning?
Yeah.
Right? And they said, you don't need a mask.
Fauci said it.
Literally, Fauci. And why did they say that? Not because you didn't need one, because they were like, hey, we need to save all the masks for the hospital people. So don't go out and buy all the masks. So if we know that they're willing to, quote unquote, misinform,
for the benefit of them.
For what they believe is the benefit. I'm not even saying misinform for bad reasons. I think a lot of times government misinforms because they're like, if we told them the truth, they wouldn't do it. So it's almost like with your kids, right? It's just like, you got to brush your teeth. Why? Or your teeth will fall out. They ain't really going to fall out, but I got to tell you that so you take this shit seriously. Hey, the global warming, we got to take this seriously. Why? Because in 20 years, we're all going to be underwater.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, I plan on being here in 20 years. I guess I got to take it seriously. We're not going to be underwater.
Listen, I agree with all of that. And I also think sometimes they just don't know the truth. Yeah. They really just don't know. So it's like, there's things Dr. Fauci said 2 years ago that would be considered misinformation now. When he went out there and said nobody should wear a mask, whatever, only doctors and stuff should wear masks, that could be considered misinformation.
Also, you don't think Dr. Fauci said an N-word, bro? The guy's an 80-year-old. Not one, bro.
At least eggplant, at least.
Listen, I'm not...
Eggplant, what, a mulligan?
What?
A mulligan?
Yeah. They always call me a fucking mulligan. Yeah.
You don't know what that is?
Yes, I do. I didn't know. I thought that was a black. What is that?
It's what Italians would call black people.
Yeah.
Mulligan means eggplant in Italian.
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy had that hilarious skit. The Mooley's gonna be
Listen, I've been saying all week. My thing is, I'm not in no moral position as a broadcaster to have an opinion about Joe Rogan. And I'm gonna tell you something. The reason I'm gonna be consistent in my message, and the same reason I'm consistent in all my messages when it comes to any of this stuff, is because this can happen to any of us at any given time.
Watch it.
This will happen to your favorite person. This will happen to the person that you love. This will happen to that person that you think is so great. One of my favorite things to do is letting people tell his age. Well, even though Taylor's getting up there. Letting people tell his age, letting people nile his age, 30, 20-something, hear stuff from our era. They can't believe it.
That's like I used to be.
Like they literally cannot believe the things comedians used to say, the things people used to rap about, the things that used to be in movies. It's unbelievable to them. We was watching the old Howard Stern sketch.
Wow.
Let me tell you how ill Howard. Howard went on The View in 2019. Alex said he couldn't believe. How old are you, Al? 33. But this is the ill part. When Howard went on The View in 2019, Sonny was like, you used to really have some real offensive stuff on your show back in the day. You used to use the N-word all the time. Howard goes, I did not. He goes, wait a minute. I did not used to use the N-word. I used to have a character on there who was a member of the KKK. He used to use the N-word. And then whoever did it slices the video. The Howard with the blackface on pretending to be Ted Danson, and he got George Jefferson Sherman Hemsley pretending to be Whoopi Goldberg. He let so many N-words.
Oh my! Yo, it got uncomfortable. What do you call a black pilot?
An N-word. Whoa! What do you call a black astronaut? An N-word. You smell an N-word, and I'm like, shit.
Yeah,
and he was actually pushing the line and using the word in a really negative context.
Now, let's give context to this thing. It made me feel uncomfortable watching, but the context is Ted Danson, who was dating Whoopi Goldberg, went to Friar's roast in blackface. And what Howard was basically saying is, Ted, it is racist what you did. Yeah, we're going to show how racist it is by creating the exaggerated version of it.
Absolutely.
So he basically he thinks he can get away with it. Again, he thinks he can get away with it.
He could in that era.
And in that era.
You know how you know he could?
He did.
He did. Exactly. That's my point.
Have y'all seen the Carlin bit about the M-word?
Yes. That is Carlin. I think Louis C.K.
No, the Carlin one is the wildest one. And rest in peace, Carlin. But he
no, I do remember, but I can't remember. I just remember him
He basically says this. He says the point is like a word by itself is nothing. Right?
Oh, but when you add
the
stuff to
context to the word, who is saying the word?
Yeah.
Like the M-word by itself is nothing, but the racist redneck saying it makes it bad, right? And he goes, that's why black people can say the N-word, right? Or that's why Richard Pryor and blah blah can say the N-word, right? Because then he goes, because they're N-words. They're allowed to because we know that they don't hate other black people, and that's why I guess it's okay. He's trying to make the point, but he like drops it and.
Hard ER.
I don't even know the word, but like it's just wild. Like, what was happening at this time? Were we just not asking black people how they felt about it? Was that really like low key? Because here's the thing. I was thinking about this. And I was like, when I was younger in high school, we read Huckleberry Finn.
Oh yeah,
out loud.
Yeah,
every kid had a paragraph. A paragraph. And I went to a diverse high school, right? So like. You're just seeing if your paragraph got an M-word. And the teacher basically said, yo, if you want to say it, you can say it. If you don't want to say it, you don't have to, right? So these poor Asian kids who they're first generation, they don't even know what most of the words mean. Like they're reading it, they're just sounding shit out like you're just reading the Spanish billboard. Bro, I swear to God. I swear to God, I'm not like, but I can't say the N-word. But yo, they would literally, and we would calculate it. We'd be like, ooh, yeah, that's got a bunch of N-words right there. That's a paragraph with Jim. Jim's saying that shit, right? And then boom, and then we're counting people.
Oh my God.
Oh shit, it's on Lou or whatever the fuck. And bro, he would hit that shit hard. And you know how they would have the slang N-word in it?
Yeah.
Because it was like a southern slang. It was almost like he was making
Mark Twain.
Yeah. Bro. Nothing funnier in your whole life than that. Nothing funny in your whole life. An Asian kid who barely speaks English just dropping hard M-bombs in a class of 30 people. Even the black kids were dying laughing. They're like, this isn't racist. The guy doesn't even know.
You know what's dying? But the era we grew up in, man,
racist.
It wasn't just the N-word.
Yeah.
It was the slurs towards women. It was
what is that?
All of the B word, the H
What's
word.
The B word?
I'm not saying it.
Broccoli.
Exactly.
These broccolis.
But it was all like every slur that was used for anybody.
I'm not gonna equate the B word with the N word, bro. I mean, I still like the B word.
Listen, I'm with you, but I'm not a woman.
Yeah. Say what?
I'm not a woman.
Yeah.
A woman takes the B word the same way we take the N word.
No, stop.
It is. Because girls can say it.
I don't call.
We can't say it.
I don't call my girls like bitches like that.
I don't believe that.
No, look, if I do,
Let me see your phone. Do you have a fiance? Do you have a fiance named Lexi?
I always say girl before I say bitch.
Before you say
like,
bitch.
You believe that?
Have I ever called you a bitch? Thank you. Don't die me.
I don't believe that.
Why you never believe it?
I just don't believe it. I don't believe
No,
it.
but for real though, but if like
I don't
a
believe
guy
that.
calls me a bitch, he's already getting slapped. Like,
Really?
Yes,
So what if he's describing your behavior? What if he's describing your behavior?
A
He's
female
acting
dog.
like that.
What if
No,
he's acting
I'm
like
not a
that?
female fucking dog.
Well, who knows? What if you're at a
music?
music festival and there's no place to take a piss?
He
You can pee
barking.
outside.
Yeah, shut the.
You can't be, you pissing like a bitch. You can't say that. You can't
Leg
say
up
that.
this side.
That's in context.
That's context, right?
But you're not going to take it like that. And same thing with the gay slur.
Yeah.
Gay slur, you can't. That hits a gay person in a different way.
Yeah.
My point is, everybody throw that language. Oh, dude. In the era we grew up in, everybody threw it around.
It was out there.
Our guy Neil Brennan said, I was talking to Neil this week. Neil was like, "Yo, man, what happens when your F tape drops?" He was like, if you came up in a certain era, everybody got an F tape.
Yeah.
Like, I can go to so many rappers and just pull up when they was throwing the F word around.
Yeah, it's all
After the gay slur, just throwing it around. And by the way, we didn't say it in reference to gay people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No, I'm lying. We did say it.
But you
said it in
never.
reference to each other.
Yeah, but you never called the gay
They
person.
would be like, yo, you acting like a B word.
Yeah.
Like, yo, you acting like a, you know what I mean?
Like what?
A female dog.
Man.
I call
I don't know what. What's
I call a
going
guy
on?
bitch.
Mutually assured destruction, yo.
Female dogs always wrong.
That's what it is.
Yo, literally, everybody just got to come out and say it all at the same time.
Just drop it all on the table. Everybody put your shit out,
That's
yo.
it.
So let's get it over.
Once everybody got nuclear weapons, we stop going to war.
You right?
Right? Everybody got to drop it.
But everybody
On
got
three.
it, though.
1, 2, 3.
Now you gonna explode.
Nah, here's the thing.
When I text you,
No. You
when I
can't-
text you, remember when you were showing me all the videos of all the people who said the N-word?
Yes.
What did I text you?
I don't remember.
I said, I'm a hero.
Oh, this guy's so
I'm a
stupid.
hero. All I've been
He
talking.
said all these white people dropping the N-word. He said, and then he goes, I'm a hero.
I never dropped it, not once.
You see what, guys?
But just because you grew up in New York.
What's that?
You know
You grew up in
better.
New York and you younger.
Yeah, and y'all are scary.
That sound more racist than the
No, that sounds like the truth, though.
That sound more racist.
Right?
I bet you. I bet
That
you if
right
somebody.
there sound more racist.
Yo, I bet you if a white person
I
tried
can
to
be
get
racist
away with
without
it.
it.
There's levels to this racism.
Nah, you real
guys.
shit.
You can't stop me now.
You gotta appreciate the people who actually say it because them the ones who's showing that they racist. All the people that's not saying
No,
it,
that's the- but
they
no.
really say they really racist.
Angela, you asked me a question this week on the Breakfast Club.
What did she ask her? What did she say?
She said, can you use a slur and not be whatever the slur you use? Like, so if I say the N-word, does that make me racist? If I use a slur towards women, does that make me misogynistic? No.
No.
And if that's the case, there's so many people that we got to check off. That means that every single person that's ever used a gay slur is homophobic. Even if like in your rap, whatever, your comedy, whatever, any person that's ever used a negative term towards women is homophobic, misogynistic. Anyone who's ever said
Or you don't love her.
the N-word is racist. Like, and by the way, man, you want to go down the list of white.
Yo, let's go down the list.
Where do you want to start? You want to start with Joe Biden?
Joe Biden said the N-word.
1985 Senate hearing.
For sure.
1985 Senate hearing. He's quoting somebody.
What'd he say?
Why they keep trying to get away with that shit?
I'll let you.
You just because you quote somebody, you get to get away with it?
He's quoting somebody. I'll send it to Taylor. Taylor can
This
insert
man
it.
even look like Biden.
It's 1985.
Watch, he was a stud. And he
I wasn't even born.
box.
Why do y'all act like people
I
don't
was born.
age?
Yeah.
That's the weirdest thing to
Yeah.
me.
It does not look like I don't.
Y'all do that about everyone. I thought somebody.
That's racist. That's racist because white people age worse.
That's
You
how
can just
long
say,
ago
oh, it doesn't look like
Who
that.
said it? I
That's
didn't say
racist.
that.
Will you
Okay,
even
share the fucking cocoa butter.
Will you even
Okay, stop keeping all your products to
Shea
yourself.
butter.
Whatever.
Were you born in 85?
No.
Exactly.
You were born.
Jesus Christ. So Joe Biden says it in 85. You know. Eminem says it in a freestyle. Justin Bieber said.
But that was
Howard Stern said. Vince McMahon looked at John Cena and said, "What's up?" Then turned to Booker T and his wife.
Bro.
He said,
But no. The funniest thing is, do you remember when Booker T said it and then caught himself and felt bad?
Booker T said it?
Yeah, there's a Booker T.
Is he black?
Yes, he is black.
Yeah.
But he said he was something and dropped it, and he was like,
He probably didn't want to say it in front of all the white people. I get it.
But isn't it funny that Vince McMahon was like, let's.
That's what I'm saying. He was part of the sketch.
How he got less hair?
That's him in the back.
No, it's 85. 85. Joe Biden was 57.
Oh, dude.
That's him in the back.
No, that's him right there, man.
Right here.
I would never knew that was him. You're right.
If you Google Joe Biden, N-word, it'll come up. But who else? Well, listen, Larry David, you're not going to sit here and tell me you didn't laugh at the Curb Your Enthusiasm stuff.
He said it?
What do you mean? Larry David has one of the best sketches when he walks in and he's trying to explain to his white friends what somebody said to him, and he says it, and when he says it, Vivica Fox walks out the room, and she goes, "What the fuck did you just say?" Yada yada, and him and Vivica and JB Smoove and all get on. Yeah, that's it right there.
You should put white people N-word instead of just Biden.
No, that's it right there. Listen. Listen, I'm not, and by the way, I'm not making no excuses for.
As the governor of the court concludes, the governor's opposition to the Nunes plan was predicated in significant part on his delineation of a majority black district centered in Orleans Parish. In a confidential portions of your staff memo, they brought to your attention the allegation that important legislators in defeating the Nunes plan in the basement said, quote, "We already have a nigger mayor. We don't need any more nigger big shots." And the court cited evidence of discriminatory intent on the part of
because he's being critical of this person who said that. Yeah.
That the legislators quote.
But by the way, I remember during the campaign, people cut that and threw it out into the ecosystem. You know what I mean? To take it out of context. So I'm not making any excuses for white people using the N-word. All I'm simply saying is, what are the rules? You know what I mean? There was a time in the 90s, there was a time in even the early 2000s where everybody was getting away with saying and doing a lot of wild shit in the sake of comedy, in the sake of music, in the sake of
you know better, do better.
Art.
You know better, do better.
Shit changed.
Yeah, I hear change.
And by the way, I would assume that was extremely risky for a white comedian. I would assume only like the ones that were really willing to take it there would do stuff like that. Same way now, people look at Dave Chappelle and be like, man, for him to be talking about the LGBTQ community in that way, that's like really edgy in this era. Right. I think it would be the same for
but if somebody catch him outside, it's up to him. I'm saying just like a white person. If you want to say it, you want to get punched in the mouth, it's all up to you.
In context?
Whatever you want to do, it all depends on who's there.
The white guy done that
yeah.
Recently.
A couple of times.
recently.
Last year.
And I talked to him.
I told him right now, y'all don't say. I said, y'all don't say.
Yeah.
Who is it? I'm not going to say who it was, but it's one of our partners. He was talking, but he was quoting.
That's what I'm saying.
He was quoting something, he was actually quoting what Pop said in the 90s.
Somebody else to another one of my other.
He was quoting what Pop said in the 90s in regard to stop and frisk, or was it plain clothes?
Yeah.
It was one of them, and he was quoting why if Eric Adams brings it back, it won't work.
This was going to happen because that's how they was looking.
That's right. He was quoting. Yo, I always tell y'all this story about when we was in West Virginia. Our guy Shane, God bless the dead.
Yeah.
I had that motherfucking ski mask on, and Shane turned around.
You appreciate that
and he was red as fuck, and he yelled. He said, "Charlemagne, don't go in that goddamn store with that mask on. You an N-word in West Virginia, they'll kill you dead." If he would have said it any other way,
you probably would have brushed it off. Yeah?
But I heard the urgency in his voice.
That ER is struck.
And when you say the N-word in this era, you don't know if somebody really just said the N-word. You're not even but when you hear somebody say, you're like, whoa.
I see where you're going at with this, yeah.
And also, I remember another thing, and Duval will tell you this. I remember being in West Virginia, in Simpsonville, with Shane and all his friends. His friends are considered rednecks. And me and Duval using the word. One of the rednecks said, "Man, I got a friend, man. His name's Main Man. He's African American. He would like that. I think y'all need to stop using that word. Y'all making me uncomfortable."
Yeah, that's cool.
You would have thought he would have been one of the main ones, like dropping the word. But he's telling me, I'm like, I respect. I don't like the word. I'm gonna be honest with you. I personally don't like the word. The reason I don't like the word is because I use it in context. I don't use it as a term.
Yeah.
I don't talk to N-words after 5.
Yeah.
And I mean ignorant people of all races.
Yeah.
I don't use it.
I don't like the word. It's not a term of endearment. You know what I'm saying? And
I never use it bad.
What do you mean?
If I'm gonna use something bad, I'm gonna come get you. I'm gonna fuck you up, or I'm gonna say something else. Me saying that to a guy, that's really a dude at the end of the day when it comes to us, is really nothing. You know what I'm saying?
How do you? But you got to. But you. I don't know. I just think.
When am I going? Am I bad at you? I'm gonna say that. The fuck I'm saying that for?
I just feel like
You're a nerd. You're not saying that.
It's so easy.
I'm gonna
to
get
not
mad.
say.
You're not gonna make me mad off that.
As a white dude, it's very easy not to say it. I've never said it. I hang out with you guys all the time. You guys sometimes say it. I do not say it. It is very easy to not say it.
Yeah.
So I understand that people say it to be provocative, etc. It's, I don't know, maybe since I've had more black friends, I've like seen people say it, or they've told me about people saying it to them in like a hurtful way. Maybe it changes things.
You ever see somebody get punched in the mouth for saying it?
No. Not on video, maybe.
What about
But
the
no.
cracker?
What's that?
You offended? Cracker.
Don't nobody care. That shit
The
don't
way you
matter.
offend white people, I'll be honest with you, like, because I know that people want to know how to do this. It's the way you offend white people is you inconvenience us. We look at inconvenience as an attack. This is what Karenism is all about.
That's all it is.
I mean this here,
No, real shit.
so like non-white people and also like poor white people don't count in this. Poor white people are inconvenienced all the time, so like they're okay with it. Like trailer park people don't like fucking go Karen ever, right? Because they understand like fuck. But middle class to rich white people, an inconvenience them is an attack. If you're a minority, you get inconvenienced all the time. Somebody follows you around a store, you're like, motherfucker. Someone pills you over for no reason, you're like, motherfucker. So you don't Karen about things like that because you're used to inconvenience. Rich, especially rich white people, I live in a building with fucking all these like super rich white people, right? And if one thing goes wrong in the building, they fucking lose their mind. There's a whole text thread that we're all on, which just them complaining. They just complain, and I watch these people complain. Oh, the elevator button wasn't
But do you
wasn't
understand what's
working.
really going on?
What's that?
Did you know what they used to break papers in college?
What do you mean?
They don't have it.
Yeah. No, I could see that, and that making them like a little bit more like ornery or whatever. But
I think there's one word that pisses white people off.
what's that?
Race.
Yeah.
If you call them racist, you actually call a white person a racist or accuse a white person of racism, even if what they did is an extreme act of racism, they will lose their mind.
I fucked a black guy before.
What?
They say.
Wow.
They say that.
That's right. By the way, y'all gonna need something else other than my best friends are black. That might be a good one. You know what I mean? And both sexes should use.
Yeah.
If you get caught out there doing something racist, using that word like, I fucked a black guy before. You know what I'm saying? That'll change the conversation.
Or I know wax.
Okay? But it's like, because even
We
when
love doing it. That is a great point.
Racism.
No. But racism, yeah, that is one thing.
Because on the radio, mayonnaise pisses people off. It used to be the funniest shit in the world. People would call the front desk and leave all of these complaints about me calling them mayonnaise. Like, and I used to describe it. I'd be like, yo, mayonnaise, yeah, you just don't need a lot of it. Too much of it ruins anything. You need just enough. They have the best tuna fish, the best potato salad. But it was like, why does he keep referring to us as mayonnaise? Like, they would be the funniest shit.
You see it now? You see how I look now?
Huh?
You see how I look now? Oh my god.
I don't think that's the one.
You see the things at the office?
Oh yeah, because it's spoiled. 'Cause I used to always have a jar of mayonnaise in there, and I was slam it on the desk. Listen, I totally understand why people don't like me. All right, I never thought about it. You never think about it. It's like I really used to fuck with people and agitate people. Still do, but really in a real way. Now, on TV,
So that'll just about do it for Charles Davis. I'm Brandon Gaudin. You've been watching the NFL on EA Sports. For more, log on to easports.com. With that, we say so long from Las Vegas.